I just noticed there's a cover down there which might be mine. No, that's not mine, no. So my cover's gone, but I'm pretty sure someone picked it up for me, so we'll need to get in touch with someone, hopefully see someone today, and they'll have put it somewhere. It's very rare things go missing here. So next job is to get the boat rigged up. Let's see if I can put the camera here. I don't really want to get the camera stand too wet. So here we go. I'm gonna do a rigging video another time. I need to get to grips with the boat before I start showing you how I actually rig it. But we're gonna rig it, and then we're gonna fit all these new bits that we've got and make her ready to sail. So I figure this block is as good as any to use. Let's get that off there, and let's get it on here. I'm hoping this will be okay, the shape of that. These shackles are incredibly strong. I've got all kinds of different versions of them, sizes, and these D ones particularly have got a lot of strength to them. So I think that's going to be okay. It's not ideal the way it fits, but there we go. The next job is to get this main sheet through this here, this block here, and then I'm going to do it at the same time. Then if you can see this, we're going to put it back through this block here. Let's get that pulled through. Always jets, and I remember A10s where I come from. A10s, you know, tank busters. I don't think they use them anymore. They used to be flying around all day when you're at school in the 80s. This last end goes through this pulley little block here. Let's move these little bits. So I assume it will go that way. And there we go. That then, I think we've got this right. Then this side of the line here is my line, is my control. Now whether it goes through there, I don't know. What I do know is there is a clip on the tiller it will go on, so you can clip it off. I'm not massively happy about that. I think that needs to be sideways. So let's pull that out again. I told you it was going to be all pulling lines today. And then that one, Ooh, wow, burnt my hand. Finger. So, actually, if that goes like that, so I think that would go like that. If I just pulled it out of the same. Gonna start again. Gonna do it round this bottom one this way, and then round that way, and then round this top one this way, and then I think I had my lines tangled a little bit. That looks a bit better. And round that way under the pipe, I think. Right. And there we go, I think that's better. So obviously there's no tension in the sail at the moment, but that's it. You can see how that goes to one side or the other, and that's how it's supposed to be, like this. And then this ties off on the tiller, although technically you shouldn't really tie your main sheet off. I think this boat you can, depending on the weather, but it's still a dinghy, this boat, you know, it'll still tip. If you make a tip, she'll tip. So we'll leave that down there. I think that's done. I'm going to move on to the next job now. So these little rings that I made to protect the sides here, they totally don't fit. They just don't, they're just too small. So I better remeasure this. It's obviously a different size to what I thought it was. Although that does not look like an inch inside there, does it? Yeah, okay. But the idea of those was either to just go here, just to give it some protection, so when the ring comes across, try and do this, you know, it's going to bang into that. So next job, I've got these, I think they're called clam cleat rope cleats, CL244. I got this idea off the Pettigrew website. It's a guy that customizes his lugger, and what they are little clamps basically with a clam cleat, or is it cam cleat? Cam cleat, this of course, yeah. And the idea of these are, if I show you down here, is this will go around here, and this will be in the top, say there, and then you can run a little line from here to your ring here, and thus you can tie that off at a certain angle, and then only thing you need to do is, once this is fitted, obviously you need to protect this. So I've got some other rings that I'll put on to do that job for now, but I think I'm going to fix these now and have a play with them. It's actually, if anything, a little bit too thick now, that tape. But as long as it holds nice and fast, which it is doing. I mean, obviously the pole itself spins around still, which is but there we go. So that's on nice and fast. Let's go do the other one. So there's the second one done. I do need to maybe stop this spinning, but there's not an awful lot I can do about that at the moment. So we'll see if that affects anything in when we sail. I also put a little bit of tape around this ring just here. I don't think it lasts very long, but just see if it does. And then the idea is you would just have this line going along here, and you can actually just attach it like this, and then you can alter where that goes, and then you do the same with the other one. So let's see if that works. We'll tie it up and see if that works. So the way this works is you've now got control over, especially if you lock that there, and then I can't lock it from here, but now this won't move at all. Oh, actually if I hold it, see, it'll keep it in one position, and if you want to get more shape in the sail, you can pull it. Now you still need to, maybe you leave this side loose, because if you're tacking and whatnot, you wouldn't want the sail to stay in the same place, but you can just get a little bit more shape in the sail. So you can see the sail's actually coming this way. If you're, you know, going upwind, you want the sail straighter, ideally, and pulled down. If you are going, if you want a little bit more shape in the sail, yeah, then you let it out here. So it gives you another option, does it? A bit of optimization, so you can have that sail there, or all the way back like this, you know, and it just gives you the option of having a flatter or more shape in the sail. We'll see. It's a special Dave, Sailing with Dave experiment, and we'll see if it works. Oh, 10:30, coffee time. I forgot my milk, so it's like one of the luxuries I have in my camper van is, well, it's probably the only mega luxury, is my Nespresso milk frother, but I forgot my milk, so espresso it is. But you can see the little nano presso I use as well makes a pretty cracking espresso. So yeah, having a little break. It's really warm, and we're nearly done. I just had this temporary shackle on here, but I've now gone and got some Clevis pins. So I've got various sizes because I didn't really know what, you know, where the hole was and whatnot. So one of these will definitely fit. I did measure the hole size. So first job is to get this out, and so far I've not been able to. So I'm going to get my pliers, see if I can work it out. These shackles are great, but you get the odd one that just maybe hasn't been machined right, and they just don't like screwing up, especially, or undoing, especially towards the end of the thread. This one is definitely a bit of a bummer. It's been a pain. Well, I'll be glad to see this one be moved out of here and then put to work on something more appropriate. So let's pop that down there. Then I don't think it really matters how big these are. I've got a 21.5 and a 25. I think the 25 is way too big. The 21.5 is fairly big. Might actually get away with the 16. Yeah, I think we'll go for the 16. You may as well put the smallest one that will fit on there. Oh, let's not use that. So, where's the they are too wide. Oh, well, that's interesting. They're all 5. Let me go and see if I've got some mirror dinghy ones that might be a bit smaller. So, believe it or not, the mirror dinghy ones are 5mm thick as well. I just found some zip ties that will probably keep these honest just for now. Actually, they're quite good. Quite good. So I've just got the rudder in. It's just resting back. This pole here would go in that little slot there, and it would go right up to sort of here but it's too deep, too shallow for the rudder to do that. You can make yourself a little piece of wood or metal that goes around here that just catches onto this bit here, and it stops it going down for when you you know, you want to quickly put your rudder in and out, because it is a beast, this rudder. And with the kickback rudder, you've got to just watch your fingers. You've got to, you know, I always make a point of only holding it here, because if you hold it down here, your fingers could get caught with that. And it's quite heavy, this rudder. So you can see we've got a fair lead. No idea what that's for. That's probably for an old tiller extension. They used to be on here. I've actually got a new tiller extension arm coming from Drascombe, although now I didn't realise it was the straight arm. It's quite expensive. It's £110. Could have made one myself, really, but there we go. We'll treat the boat. She deserves it. I've just found these old beads I was going to use for the reefing system on my mirror. So we'll just check, see if these fit. Oh yeah, they're actually a bit bigger than those. So we've got 4 of these. 3 have got 4 on, and 1 has got 3 on. The one with the 3 is meant for the jaws of the gaff. So if I bring the gaff down, you can see that. We'll just tie that off a little like that. That'll be fine. You'll see these beads are for the gaff. I don't really like them, and I don't like the way you have to tie them off. I'd much rather there was a better way of fixing them. But they're supposed to be loose, and they're not really supposed to, yeah, be tight. Just supposed to hold the gaff to the mast. But you're supposed to have some on the way up, so just under. Let me show you. So you're supposed to have some just under where the gaff blocks are, and then you can have another set here. I mean, I've been given 3, so you know, I'm not quite sure about that. I'm going to try and show you this. So I've got my 2 Parral beads set up there now. Seem to work quite well, actually. First thing we're going to do is fit this one. So all we do is we need to fit the top one. So I just need to release the halyard a little bit more. So this is what you would do when you first put the halyard up, and it would go around this one here like this. Oh, and the bead should go on the mast, and then I've left this little bit of string on the end here, so that should help me pull the bead through. Well, it probably need a knot on the other side to do that as well, but there we go. There we go, that's one. And then you'd hoist this up, and then you put, well, you're supposed to put another one kind of down here, but don't know about that really. But let's put it on anyway. This one's gone on the other way round, but what the heck. This one's a little bit tighter. I didn't want to have to tie things up every time. So yeah, that works. And now the idea is when you pull the mast up, I just tie that off quickly so you can see. So when you tie that mast off, you can see, look how straight the gaff is now. Let's see what happens when, say, we just want to pull up and bring the sail down. See, it'll stay nice and straight. So now look, we can bring the sail down to roughly here, tie it off. Oh, there we go. We can tie it off, and you can see now the gaff is the same height as the sail. And then once this is all tied up like this, you can then just strap that all to the sail, and you've got one main completely tidied away, no boom to worry about or anything. So yeah, I like that. I couldn't do that before because I didn't have these Parral beads fitted. So now I've got them fitted, I can see the benefit of that. The gaff stays right up against the mast no matter how high it is. Right, We're now at the bottom of the mast, so we've got to just sort this out. So according to the manual, sorry, that's the gaff. Let's get the gaff out of the way. The gaff is supposed to go down the back here as shown. So let's just pull that all the way through. It's actually too thick to go anywhere else, that gaff. Now, in the manual, you can put a clam cleat or cam cleat and then tie it off here, but we're just going to tie it off there for now. Then this rope obviously needs to be made tidy. Whip. Now this, well actually this is now the jib halyard, which we've just loosened. So you pull that till it's fairly taut. So I haven't actually tightened it since we were playing with it, but this time this one goes through that little hole, if you see. And now again, you can use a cam cleat for that, or you can just use these pins to just tie it off and then make that line good. So to make the line good, you can literally do a little, don't know, you could just tidy the rope up like that. You could actually just do that. It would probably stay there nice and behaved itself. And the halyard might be a bit too much halyard. You don't want lines and sheets all over the place on the deck of your boat for obvious reasons. I mean, they could be really dangerous. And you want to also make sure, you know, they're easily, there you go, that, you know, you can bring the halyard down and stuff. So that's not ideal either, but you know, for now it's okay. Now this is supposed to go through this hole here, but we've got this, I don't know if you can see, we've got this little rogue blue line here. I don't know what it's for. So actually I've been using this blue line just because I've seen it on old boats, just to hold the mast into here. But really this mast should be held in just by the halyards being nice and tight. So I don't really know what it's for, so I'm going to remove it. Whoop, and you can now see, because this is loose. Let's just get rid of that. So you can see instantly that as soon as I've taken it off, the mast come away. But that's because I've not got the... Oh, and that's the gaff coming down. Bloody hell, I wonder what that was. But that's because I've not got the... So you can see the mast comes away. But that's because I've not got my shrouds tightened up. I mean, look at this port shroud. So those are quite tight. It's just now it's the bow shroud that we need to just tighten up. There we go. And you've got to be really careful not to tighten it up too much. This jib shroud, or this jib halyard, should I say, not shroud. So let's just tighten it up a little bit. I'm going to make these lines good later because there's just absolutely no reason making them all good while we've got loads of tidying up to do. So let's get the halyard back in. That'll do for that. That's the main sheet halyard, the gaff halyard. And this I'm just going to untie and get rid of. I think it's just a little reef knot here. And that has now freed up that little hole. So now this line will come in here. We're going to start to look really neat. There we go. And there we go. And now we can hopefully alter that. Let's just double check, because I don't want it 4 of the posts. I'm just gonna, oh, where'd that hole go? There. I'm just gonna put it this way round because I don't want that to come 4 of the deck there. And I was even thinking I could put a cam cleat on this, because there might be a time where you want that just to release a little bit and have a little bit of, you know, play in it like this, and there might be a time where you want it nice and tight. But for now you can just use, you know, the same pin here as this, and there you go, like that. So for now you can just use the same pin, and now you've got your mainsail attached here. You could actually have something put on here, attach it here, so it'll pull it tighter or looser, you know. But you know what, like my mirror dinghy, I've not got my mirror dinghy tied up here. It doesn't even have eyelets. This does, so you could technically tie this up to the mast, but if you do that, you can't bring the sail down as quick. So for now I'm going to leave it. So that's actually almost everything done. And you can see there's a little breeze here starting to push the sail. But I just wanted to have a word on reefing. So I've already discussed, when you reef, you need to get this reattached here to this reef point. So we need something that, like a snap shackle, that will go into those. But also you've got to have a new set of jaws or blocks. You see the little blocks that the halyard, the gaff halyard, sits against. Now I spoke to Drascombe about that, and they said yes, you can make your own blocks, that's fine, and because you've got to be able to lower the gaff to accommodate the reef by about, you know, a metre. But they also said the newer boats just have a hole drill through the gaff, so you could do it that way and just tie a new knot. So that's one for another time. So I found this little shackle. This is quite strong, 316 steel. So that will now be able to come off here. When we reef, we lower the halyard. I'll just show you, you might hopefully be able to see this. That should snap quite easily on this. It's not the perfect shackle for this job, but it does fit and it does do the job. So I found my cam cleats that I bought a few weeks ago, exactly for this job. So I'm actually going to put this, I've been playing with this. I think putting it here, it makes the ropes messy. I think they're supposed to go down that hole. Whoa, let's not drop those in the bilge. Ah! Okay, I've got a spare one. I can get that in a minute. So you can see I've dropped that straight down the hole there. And then rather than put it round this pin and mess up the, you know, the gaff halyard, because I might want to get that down quite quickly, I'm just going to use this cam cleat and I'm going to put that sort of here, about there, I think. Yeah, I need to get it away from there. Might have to be on a tilt a little bit. I'm going to put it there, and I'm just going to screw it in and be done with it. So now the cam cleat's there, I can tighten that up and it's pretty much tight like that. There we go, I can do it from there. I'll probably give it a little pull from there, and now it's nice and tight. If I want to loosen it, don't forget there will be windage there, and I can just put that in there. If I want to tie it off, see, there's not enough rope to tie it off really, but I can barely tie it off. But you don't really need to tie that off. It's not, if that goes flappy, it's not like massively the end of the world. So, you know, and the load is being taken by this kind of pivot here as well. So, you know, I think that's going to be fine. Yeah, cool.